2, 1. People of the world, hello and welcome to Marketing as a Foreign Language, episode 165. Can you even believe it? We are grinding. The very first guest ever in the history of ever that we ever had on the show, Ryan J for Jankowitz, round 2 fight. If you were a Street Fighter kid, like I was, born in 1984, that makes me 36 years old. I was more of a Ryu guy, and Jankowitz was more of a Guile guy.
Yeah, I love my Colonel Guile with his spiky hair.
Oh, there he is. Boom, I'm going to make you live so people can see you. Ryan Jankowitz is all about the sonic boom. I just want to say that. But let me start the show by saying that just the other day, I was outside and met one of my neighbors. His name is Musa, and his friends called him Musashi, which apparently is a famous Japanese samurai, perhaps. Big Muay Thai guy. And as fate would have it, my neighbors have this little tiny Buddha just hanging out totally subtly by one of their little bushes outside their house. And turns out Musa, total Muay Thai fighter, and it reminded me of our incredible guest today, the Ryan Jankowitz, who has manifested kettlebell expertise into an enlightened state that he can then transfer to you, which we covered last time. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our guest today, Ryan Jankowitz.
Thank you, Kellen. It's great to be back. Great to connect with you again.
That's right, round 2 fight. All right. We are going to start from the beginning again, actually, because we spent most of our time last time talking about martial arts, which we will inevitably get into. So again, quick summary: where were you born? How were you raised? Let's get going.
Sure, let's dive into it. So I was born in Burke, Virginia. It's not too far from Washington, D.C., so part of Northern Virginia. And I grew up, sports was like the central theme of my life all the way through high school, into college. I wasn't a good enough athlete to play collegiate sports, but I dabbled in some club sports and got into bodybuilding, and I was just very active. And I couldn't imagine sitting behind a desk. I had some internships in college where I would do desk work. It was soul crushing to me. And that's what eventually prompted me to find a job at a gym between my junior and senior year of college. And that's when I discovered that personal training is actually a career, and you can help people make money and stay active. So that's how I got into personal training, was my hate for sitting at a desk.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me now, because you told me a cross-country running injury story. Did you not?
Actually, the injuries happened after college, and that's kind of what prompted me to start working with people who are suffering from pain, coming off injury from physical therapy or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I guess now that you mentioned cross-country, that's what ultimately got me thinking about nutrition, how to prepare for a race, thinking about hydration, carb loading, tapering your training in preparation for a race or in preparation for an event. So cross country was a huge catalyst for me to actually get into personal training.
So let's go back to college, shall we? So
Let's do it.
You're in college and you are surrounded by people that love you because you're so popular?
I suppose.
Was that just how it was for the Jankowitz in college?
Yeah, I mean, college was a blast, and I loved my time at Virginia Tech. It started off, it was tough because I started with the veterinary science program because I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian because I loved animals. I worked at a vet clinic in high school for a summer. That was okay. But when I got to college, I didn't realize that their veterinary school was centered around farm animals. And coming from the suburbs of Washington, D.C., I was used to working with dogs and cats. So it was an eye-opening experience. I was like, man, I can't do this.
So hold on a second.
It's just not my thing.
Just hold on a second. Okay, wait. Wait.
So I transitioned into human nutrition, foods, and exercise. That was much more my speed. I'm a science-based person, so a lot of biology, chemistry, anatomy, physiology. I took basic nutrition classes. And that's where I discovered an internship to work at a gym.
So there are 3 things I need to do right now. Number 1, I need to talk about the transition between your veterinary experience, cats and dogs, that like farm animals. Number two, I need to shout out to Esther Sass and Dennis Feldman in chat right now. If you can tell, actually, in the screen above me, your chats are appearing for a brief moment above my head. So why don't you keep chatting just so we can see the chat box fill up? That makes me happy. And then the third thing is that there is a bridge between that farm animal, cats and dogs, veterinary science, and the personal training that I want to explore.
Sure.
So again, I'm not a big coincidences guy. It to me, it seems like you went into this veterinary program expecting one thing and getting another.
Right.
And that builds your resiliency, obviously. Do you think it was a coincidence that you showed up to Virginia and like all of a sudden they're like, well, the bovine flu?
I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, or maybe just not me doing my due diligence and
but you're like
out the program.
But you're like 20. You're like 19. What do you know?
Yeah, 18 when I went. You don't know what you don't know. So yeah, it was just shocking for me because I thought, oh, we're gonna like study dogs and cats. It's gonna be easy. Like I worked at a vet clinic, piece of cake, and then that first week it was just eye opening because we're actually going out to farms and working with like sheep, pigs, and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I don't like this at all. And I was losing interest. And I was like, I gotta switch my major, but I want to stay in something related to science. And just kind of going through the course catalog and looking, I kept gravitating towards science. And I saw stuff about nutrition and exercise science. I was like, man, I kind of dig exercise, and I would love to be able to blend my passion for science and sports together somehow. And that's what led me on that path to the major that I graduated with.
Yep. See, this is the point that I am making. That here you are. It seemed it's. I'll put it to you this way. In chess, Magnus Carlsen can do any opening he wants. Anyone he wants. He can do like the side pawn, like the A pawn. He can go to A4. You know what I mean? There's a guy called GM Hikaru who plays something called the Bong Cloud opening, which is where you like push like a D pawn and you bring the king out. It's the most ridiculous thing. Esther asks, were your parents athletic? And we will get to that in just a second. But he plays this most ridiculous opening, and then of course he wins because he's just better. And so this is the point I'm making: is you start the game, you play the game, and then before you know it, you end up winning because it's a testament to your skill. Hey kiddo, you want to join the live show real quick? Okay. So this is Annika, and she's on the live show. Do you want to say hi to Ryan?
How's it going?
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Annika.
Okay, so Ryan's a kettlebell master. Did you know that?
No, but Dada,
Yeah.
I have some awesome news for you.
Okay, so let's share our awesome news live on the show and then for the whole internet to see. Yeah.
My camera's working now.
So she was having camera drama for her school, virtual school, but it's now working. So that's great news. Okay, so let's say bye-bye to Ryan, okay?
Bye, Ryan.
Okay.
Bye.
I gotta go do this live interview, kiddo. Bye. Love you. Proud of you. Can you shut the door, please? Thank you. Parenting.
Right.
So thank you for rolling with that. Okay, so Esther had a question for you, but I also did want to just reiterate that point, which is it serves to your intelligence that you could navigate through that entire thing and end up finding what you love, starting so far away, and knowing what you didn't want.
Right.
It taught you what you didn't want.
Exactly. Yes. I think that's an important point, to know what you don't like, rather than trying to stick it out because you signed up for it and you want to see it through. There's always a better way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. If you're not passionate about something, it's not going to be fun. So you got to find what you're passionate about. And my grades definitely improved once I changed majors.
So let's get to Esther's question. She's wondering,
Sure.
Were your parents athletic?
Yes, my parents were athletic. They played sports growing up, and they encouraged my brother and I to pursue sports as well, even from the earliest age, I don't know, I was maybe 5 or 6 when I started with organized sports, and all the way until through high school, I played organized sports, and I definitely have my parents to thank for that. And I think because they recognize the value of working with other kids, playing team sports, also just as like two boys who like to roughhouse, we need to burn energy somewhere. So why not put them into sports? Mm-hmm. My parents were very encouraging, and my mom would drive us to practice and stuff, so they helped out quite a bit. And they tried to make as many high school games and meets as possible. I know, high school gets a little tough. But yeah, and I even remember my grandma tossing a baseball around with us when we were little. So yeah, a lot of members in my family, my extended family, were into sports. So it was very easy for me to stay with that theme throughout my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just this morning I hopped on my electric longboard and I do barefoot because I'm a hippie, and and so I'm going down to the local skate park, and I'm doing my tricks and my moves, Ryan, you understand? And at the skate park, and I did something I should not have done, and now I have a paper towel wrapped around my big toe because I didn't cut it just a little bit. It wasn't like it was a bleeder.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it reminds me of martial arts. The weapon, which is the electric longboard in this case, with blood on it, to me, always is very symbolic of a good thing, even though it doesn't seem like a good thing.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned barefoot. That's something that I want my clients to do, is train barefoot. That's something I do and I believe in, is barefoot training for strength training. I'm not a expert running coach, so I can't comment on that. But for strength training and kettlebells, got to train barefoot, and I encourage my clients to do so. And it's awesome that you consider yourself a hippie because you go barefoot. That's how we were meant to be.
I'm saying it slows you down. It's better for your knees because you don't do the same clunky, jumpy, it changes your behavior. You feel better connected to the earth. It's like Wim Hof, which we mentioned, you and I, prior to the show. He's a big barefoot guy, barefoot in the snow. I felt my whole life like I don't belong on the planet Earth because I have to wear clothes. I have to live in a shelter. I have to build fire just to live. It always struck me as insane that, especially in North Dakota, like, what am I doing here? Like, I feel so not a part of my surroundings. Wim Hof, I don't know if y'all know about him, but I'll let Ryan describe who he is. He's a big, take your shirt off, go take a barefoot walk in the cold. And you adapt. So why don't you Wim Hof these folks? Tell them about him. You read his book?
I've just read his book. I believe it's called The Iceman Cometh. I don't know too much about him outside of his book, but he believes that cold training improves immunity, improves blood flow, reduces inflammation, and you can adapt to the cold through breathing and just practice getting out in the cold. I've tried to do his methods. I'm much better at it in the summer when I can take a cold shower. It's much easier for me to practice, but in the winter it's hard. But I have noticed when I'm able to control my breath, I'm able to kind of stop shivering. Because right now in Maryland, it's in the 30s, it's snow, there's ice. And I find myself focusing on my breathing, thinking back to the things he talked about in his book about controlling your breath when you're outside in the elements. So I find it fascinating. I really like the stories about helping people with certain skin conditions or allergies or other things. I can't remember exactly, but he would lead this group of people on these hikes, and they would be in just shorts and maybe shoes.
There are some documentaries. This dude will take a group of people and he will have them jump in the freezing cold water.
Yeah.
And this is the big takeaway for me. So I take an ice cold shower every day now.
Impressive.
Twice a day. Wow. I'm starting to crave it. There's an incredible documentary that just came out on Netflix called My Octopus Friend, something like that. Duchess Rideshare comments, just listening to this is making me cold. Which is so true.
You got to breathe. Breathe.
Oh, Lord, you have to breathe. So let's do, here, I'm going to do just 15 breaths real quick, or just 10 breaths, because I want people to understand what we're talking about. You do 30 normally, but this is what it looks and sounds like. It's... That's 10. You do 30. And I'm already lightheaded. I can already feel all this mojo flowing through my whole body. I feel completely different than I did 30 seconds ago. Like an entirely different human being. It is incredible what that does. And they literally put Wim Hof on... some scientists did a study of him where they injected neurotoxins, which are basically dead bacteria. And typically the body will respond by making you feverish, sweaty, uncomfortable, nauseous. And he was fine.
Yeah.
And they said, it's just the Iceman, you're crazy. You do all this crazy stuff. You swim in ice cold water. It's just you. It's just you've built up this sort of thing. And then he's like, no, this is not true. I will tell you what is true. And he got a group of students, and he just taught them the breathing methods, and they did it, similar findings. And so it is very important to remember to breathe. And breathing doesn't mean take a deep breath. This is incorrect. It's not, and I should be fine. No. 10, 20, 30. And it's like any other muscle. You got to flex it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, I think having studied Qigong, it was easy for me to pick up on the breathing tips and continue to use them, because I'm always thinking about diaphragmatic breathing every single day. As soon as I get up in the morning, I'm relaxing my shoulders, I'm feeling my diaphragm. Even as I sit here, I'm focusing on my posture, my diaphragm. I think that's one thing that the general public is missing out on, is how to breathe properly. And I think we could solve a lot of issues by learning how to breathe properly by using the belly and the diaphragm. So it's cool that Wim Hof really keys in on the breathing to help other people achieve these pretty amazing feats.
Yep. And not only does the cold shower do incredible things to, I've always had 2 abs. And I've always wanted more abs. I would give me those extra abs. And recently I'm like, what? Hold on, extra ab forming. What's going on here? And I credit it to the cold and the calories that I'm burning by just being in the cold, to the point that I am no longer cold. That's how long I stay in. I stay in until I'm like, I could stay in here and not feel like, which is only like 2-3 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. To really drive home what the breathing feels like, get in the cold. Take a cold shower, because what you'll notice is your body will instantly go.
Yep. Short breath, shrug the shoulders.
Bro, that exactly. You understand it. Guests, I'm telling you, if you really want to get used to breathing right, and this isn't, I'm not saying this to mean always breathe this way. I'm just saying every now and then you need it during the day. You'll be like, oh, wait, I feel terrible. You do those 10 breaths, you feel so much better. So anyway, cold therapy, big deal. So Ryan Jankowitz is a Kung Fu master. We talked about this last time. He knows Tai Chi, Bagua, Xinji, which are Tai Chi, Bagua, Xinyi. And I want to talk briefly about that. So because I'm taken aback for the whole life story. So in college, when did you start your martial arts journey? How old were you?
It wasn't until after college, when I was working at a gym in Arlington, Virginia, and I met a guy who ended up becoming my roommate for several years, and he had already studied Wing Chun. And we got along really well because we were both into working out. And I was like, I want to learn what you're teaching. So he taught me for about a year. He taught me everything that he knew.
Just 1-to-1?
Yeah, just 1-to-1. He was another trainer.
Wow.
So during our free time, we would train, and he taught me Wing Chun. And he learned it from a guy like in Georgia. And this guy was like all right, once you learn Wing Chun, you need to seek out someone who knows Bagua. So we found a martial arts instructor in Maryland, in College Park, Maryland, who taught Wing Chun, Bagua, Xing Yi, was also like a certified Qigong instructor. So for probably 3 to 4 years, we trained with this guy. We were his indoor students. That's what he called us. So it would just be the two of us and our instructor training us in his backyard or in his house rather than taking like a class. So we took our Wing Chun pretty far to the point where we were working on the wooden dummy, which is really cool. And that's where I learned Tai Chi as well. And I still use Qigong every single morning. That's how I wake up. I do the set of joint rolling and then a standing meditation. So I still use those things I studied like 13 years ago now. And right around the time I was learning these different styles of Kung Fu, that's when I was introduced to kettlebells. And I saw a lot of parallels between kettlebells and martial arts, from the breath control, using your entire body to throw a punch or swing a kettlebell. It starts from the ground up. It's not just from the shoulder to throw a punch, or you're not just lifting kettlebell with your arms. It starts with your feet interacting with the ground, producing force, and that force traveling through your body into your punch or into the kettlebell. So that really compelled me to keep going and learn more about kettlebells. And I was very fortunate to learn from like the source, Pavel, who started the modern kettlebell movement here in the States in like 2000, 2001 with a company called Dragon Door. And I remember reading Pavel's first book about strength training. The book was called Strength Training Secrets for Every American, or Russian Strength Training Secrets for Every American. And it was the first time someone broke down breathing and tension and how it relates to common exercises, deadlifts, squats, push-ups, how to put it all together. And it just blew my mind, because I had taken all these personal training courses, gone to these big conferences that were 2 or 3 days long, and nothing really resonated with me until I learned about kettlebells and learning from the books that Pavel wrote. And yeah, the martial arts and the kettlebells were just like the perfect blend at the right time, where I found my niche in the fitness industry.
Yeah, I'm saying for the folks there that are listening that are not martial artists, let me tell you that there is a spiritual component to this that is difficult to describe, which is what makes it spiritual. If you do Qigong for a certain amount of time, it's like a meditator. If you strap measuring devices to long-time happiness meditators, you'll find that they can just absolutely light up parts of the mind that are connected to joy, to peace. They can just boom, at a moment's notice, just light it up. And folks that have been doing martial arts for as long as Ryan has, have something similar in their manifestation of an object. And so the kettlebell, as I've mentioned now multiple times, but it bears repeating, is just imagine a Shaolin temple. Imagine all these enlightened monks kind of like walking around, and then there's this kettlebell that they've been swinging for 300 years, right? It's absorbed so much chi, so much intention. That's what we're talking about. It's multiple people putting spirit into an object. And so, yeah, I'm fascinated. I wonder if we'd be able to do like a kettlebell workout live. Would be kind of cool.
You can work something out.
Yeah, maybe I could do just go buy one and set up the camera in a weird way, and then maybe you could just run me through a workout.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm up for that.
Okay. If that sounds good, chat, let me know. Leave a comment. Maybe if we get up to a reasonable amount of comments, I'll do it. No, I'll do it I'll do it if nobody comments. I don't care. But let me know if you want me to do that. That would be super fun. And I actually have space for that. So just throw down the workout mat, and let's do that. You want to do that for next time?
Yeah, Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, cool. So that way we'll get a sense of what Ryan's all about, and you can watch me sweat, watch me suffer. Uh, yeah, Duchess Rides here says do it. So there you go. There's one vote.
One's good enough.
That's right. Esther says excellent, which is what it shall be. And then Tai Chi. Do you ever do the 24 form? Do you know what that is? Tai Chi 24 form?
The form I learned, I believe, was the 36 form.
Oh, okay.
That's what my instructor called it. I don't do it anymore, sad to say. But I'm not familiar with the 24 form.
I was doing the 24 in San Diego. It's ubiquitous. It's really well known, I'm told. And so I was doing it in this gorgeous little circle in San Diego. Perfect day. And I'm wrapping it up, and some dude's just staring at me. He's just standing there staring at me. And I'm like, hi. And he's like, 24 form? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you want to do it again? I was like, yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I love it, is because I've had these sorts of interactions in my life where people are like, yeah, know that one. So
Nice.
that one might be a cool one to pick up for you if you want to get back into Tai Chi. Just Google it, YouTube it.
Okay.
It's and then you're on a beach somewhere and you do it, and all of a sudden some people are doing it with you. It's neat.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And then here's the bonus challenge. If you do learn it the other way too. So there's do it left side and then right side. So
that seems very challenging.
Very hard. Yeah. So
I remember learning Tai Chi, and I'd always do it facing a certain direction, looking at a certain wall. My instructor was like, turn around.
Yep.
And it just completely threw me off.
Yep.
I think that's just an important lesson for life.
Balance. Yeah, balance
Balance
is everything, man. It really is balance in all things. Which is why I founded the martial art Yin Yang Way. Did I send you a link on the Yin Yang Way stuff yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. I gotta send you
that to me.
I gotta send you that. Yeah. I'm gonna throw it in chat actually real quick. So while I go dig this up, why don't you just pitch the fine folks? You tell them why they should pay you money today.
Sure. So I'm the owner of Kettlebell, and I use online kettlebell programs to help men and women lose 10 to 15 pounds, shed their spare tire, and build lean muscle so they can fit better in their clothes, look better naked, and move like they did in their 20s. You can find me at rjkettlebell.com, or just friend me on Facebook. I put a lot of free content on Facebook. I break down different kettlebell exercises. I provide some nutrition tips. And I have some really awesome kettlebell programs. People are seeing results. They're getting stronger. They're losing weight without spending hours and hours working out or starving themselves or taking gross supplements. So I try and take a common sense approach to strength training and nutrition. And I feel that it has really had a profound effect on the people that have gone through my programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm saying Ryan's no joke. Now, there are multiple reasons why you should hire him. The reasons why I'm interested in doing a workout with Ryan live for the whole world to see is the martial arts. That's the big selling point for me, just as a martial artist. But every person has a different selling point. You know what I mean? Like the spare tire, the gross supplements. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's got that thing that just drives them nuts that they would rather not do. And then the big thing for Ryan are these internet classes that you're doing. Not the one-to-ones, but the group classes. Explain those to me. What are you offering?
Sure. So I have two programs. I have a 90-day kettlebell transformation program. And once you join the program, you'll receive your first month of workouts. You'll get a Word document that has 12 kettlebell workouts. So it comes out to about 3 workouts per week. And they're not long, 30 to 45 minutes. So it leaves you time to take care of business at home or at work. Plus, it leaves you time during the week to do other workouts. Like if you enjoy running, martial arts, or doing yoga, you still have time for those other activities. Each week, you will receive a quick video lesson on how to do the deadlift and swing. That's the first lesson. And then from there, we gradually build the complexity of the exercises over the 90 days. We also do a live group coaching call each week. That way, it creates accountability. You can ask me questions about the program. You can demonstrate your form to me live, or just ask me anything about health and nutrition. And you receive bonus support in the form of video sharing. So if there's an exercise you're struggling with, let's say the kettlebell swing, you can record yourself doing a few reps, send it to me through whatever medium you're comfortable working with, and I'll analyze it and send back a response video. So that's the nuts and bolts of my 90-day program. And then from there, I have an advanced kettlebell program where you receive 12 workouts each month. We do a group Zoom call 1 to 2 times a month, just depending on the month. And again, we get that same support in the form of video sharing if you're struggling with an exercise like the Turkish get up or the kettlebell snatch. So those are the programs that I love working with people, and people are really seeing results and getting stronger.
Oh, I'm sure. Moving weight. I mean, it's not that complicated when you really break it down, but there is so much nuance to it, and there's so much expertise. I love it. I'm for it. I vote yes. What's the URL? Where should they go?
You can go to rjkettlebell.com, or again, find me on Facebook, Ryan Jankowitz. Just send me a friend request, or you can join one of my kettlebell groups on Facebook.
That's right. And if you're listening to the show, you can always email info, that's info@senditrising.com, to connect with any of the guests on the show. If you're listening, you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you. As you can tell, we're all about those multiple interviews. We're about learning consistently over time, developing relationships and all that stuff. So if you have been moved by the spirit through Ryan Jankowitz today, why don't you sign up for one of his little classes? I think you should do it. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, Ryan Jankowitz, my good friend. Put your hands together.
Thank you, Kellen.
Those are the confetti cannons. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for swinging on by Marketing is Foreign Language today. Hopefully we'll have Ryan back on the show for another episode, and that concludes today's show. We'll see you next time.